So first of all, congratulations on delivering a masterpiece.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of Oscar buzz as well.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, it's great.
With all the expectations from this film, did it make the filmmaking process a different experience for you?
I mean, I think it's hard not to be aware of the fact that you are making a film of a book that a lot of people really love. So people already have a sense of ownership of the story, and they have their own pictures of what it should feel like and what the important bits are and how the characters should feel. And so I knew that, but I think once I started into the process of really grappling with it and making it, really you just get stuck into that, and I kind of let that go. It's towards the end then, when we're nearly finished and we're ready to show the film, then yeah, you think, oh well, what will the book lovers feel about this movie?
I heard you wrote a lengthy letter to Emma telling her how you're going to detail every step of the story. So why were you so passionate about it?
I think it's two things. First of all, I adored the book and I was so moved by it, and I also felt like I knew how to make this into a film, and that it was going to be tricky and people were going to get it wrong, and in a strange way I felt already protective of it. I thought, I really want to do this, I can do it right. And I also wrote the lengthy, passionate letter because I knew that Emma would be approached by lots and lots of people, and I wanted her to really. I thought she probably won't give it to me, but I want to know that I have been as articulate as I possibly can be and tried as hard as I possibly can to get this book. So that's why I did it.
Brie gives a compelling performance. So how did you know Brie would be able to deliver and embody Ma's emotional state?
I saw Brie in Short Term 12, which is this great film, which should have got a lot more attention than it did. And then I met her and we talked for most of an afternoon. It was supposed to be an hour, and we ended up spending the afternoon together. She's such a clever person. She's such a sensitive person. She's inquisitive. She's curious. She reads, and we spoke so openly about what was going on in the story. That combined with what I'd seen of her on screen and then some auditions we did, I just had no doubts that she had everything she needed to play this part with absolute conviction.
You certainly deserve a ton of credit for getting Jacob to deliver his performance. How did you get him to comprehend his character and carry it out so beautifully?
I think part of the skill in directing a child is to find ways of talking about what's happening that make sense to the child, you know? There's no point in talking in abstract terms about the story in the way that you might with an adult. You have to find illustrations and situations that make sense to him as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old boy. And so I was always looking for really concrete emotional references for him that would make sense. And then the task is a lot of patience, a lot of concentration, repeating and repeating scenes, sort of conducting almost, and slowing him and speeding him and helping him find the right rhythms. But what I should say is that none of that work would lead to anything if that talent wasn't already in the person. I mean, Jake is great because he's a great actor. I mean, I think directing a child is a really tough brief, especially in something as complicated as this, where there are so many shades of emotion which you have to get just right. But couldn't do it if he wasn't the talented actor that he is.
He delivered every note, every scene to the mark, so that was impressive.
Thank you.
What was the most challenging aspect of adapting the book?
Probably we changed the structure a little bit in the second half, because films and books are different. You know, literature in a piece of fiction, literary fiction, you can have digression and you can park the main plot line for a while and talk about something and then come back to it. It's very hard to do that in film. Film is very much demanding of forward motion. So we structured and restructured a little bit in the second half to keep that tension right through to the end of the film. So that was one challenge. I think the other thing was how to deal with the fact that the book really falls into two distinct halves, you know? And that's not something that... so negotiating how you get out of the first half and into the second half in a way which feels seamless and organic for the audience, they were the real challenges in the adaptation.
How did you know Brie and Jacob were the perfect Ma and son relationship?
The honest and truthful answer is you never fully know. There's a point in every film where you just have to take a leap. And I had a gut instinct that they would work really well together. And that they were both the people who should take those roles. And then we gave ourselves quite a bit of time in rehearsal to test that, and also to give them a chance to really bond. And Brie was so great with Jake. She made him feel so comfortable. He totally fell in love with her. They played together. They did Lego together. They made a lot of the ornaments and games and things that are in room, and that helped them bond. And I think there's a point at which, as a director, you just go, you know, it's okay. This was a good decision.
And lastly, what's next for you?
I'm working on a few different things, but I'm working on a really interesting ghost story set in Britain in the 1940s, which is it's a good project. Hope to shoot it next summer.
I'm looking forward to that. After what you did with Room, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.